Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Callen, in the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Getting ready to come to you with another action-packed 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit that fits. And
action-packed.
Does it mean we have to actually do something?
Are you going to dance? What are you going to do? What's the action?
We can dance if you want to.
If we have to move, I'm out.
We need some background music. Let's put some of that on. Okay, so right now the computer is totally freaking out on me.
Oh boy,
which is awesome. I love when it does this. So first time into Shop Talk. What we do here is a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of motorcycle news, a lot of stuff with guests, some talk. Some good times. Wow, it really is. So
what, good times or
no?
Oh.
The computer's killing me tonight.
That's what they make cameras for.
Anyway, so everything's live.
Right?
All of our faux pas, all of our screw ups. It's live. We're in our own studio. Chris is not only the host, but he is the production engineer, and all sorts of funky things are happening. There we go. So just bear with us. Computers apparently have a mind of their own. Technology is going to be the downfall of this society.
It's killing me right now, that's for sure.
That's why I don't have anything to do with it.
But we have Mark PERSICHETTI joining us. He's actually here in person and not a trained bear this week.
I shaved.
He shaved. Oh, I just got more audio, too.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
So,
fancy schmancy.
Generally, when everything's working right, what we tell you guys is we invite you to be part of this show. This is just not a, hey, tune in and we're going to talk to you for, an hour and a half. If you look off to the side there, you see the comments starting to pile up from all of the social media, everybody from the Cycle Source Network.
All the cool kids.
From Chopper Town. We appreciate you guys watching with us, and got a great show coming up tonight. But like Heather said, last week, you came in remotely because you were still on your way back from Tennessee, and we couldn't hear you great. So we got to hear a little bit about Tennessee before we get into the hour.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a little bit chilly, rained a little bit, but that didn't stop us morons. We just kept on going. It was good. The BC Invitational was pretty off the charts. Everybody really brought their A game. I got to say that. There was a lot of really cool bikes.
The bikes were incredible, dude.
And everybody getting together, and you know how it is when we all get together. So,
Russ said they liked the trained bear better.
Well, it probably looks a little bit better. But then we're talking about Russ. He probably doesn't even know what's going on. Him and the dog are probably drunk right now, so it doesn't really matter.
And one of them has a gun.
Yeah, right. Probably the dog. I'm going to give Deb probably said the dog has way better luck with the gun than Russ. So. Well, and he's there with a Kevlar face mask on right now.
Cabana Dan says hello.
Ooh, Cabana Dan.
A lot of people were asking how Daytona was, and sadly,
we don't know.
I have to admit to you guys that the Sprinter was down, and we did not get to go to Daytona. Thank God for Missy and Roadside and Papa B for stepping in and helping us out with the show at Willie's, because man, we blew it. We blew it. As we sit right now, we're waiting for a report on the status of the Sprinter.
Who's Papa B?
Steve Burrows.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? Did you just get here?
You always just call him Poppy. I've never heard Papa B.
Carlos says, Marky Mark is back. Welcome back, man.
Carlos.
Right on. So like I said, man, lots of great stuff coming up. We have some really, really great guests tonight. One that I'm super excited to talk to. We've been trying to get hooked up with him, but Eric Gorgeous from Voodoo Choppers is coming on, and he's going to be talking about his book. If you guys haven't, I'm almost ashamed to say that I wasn't aware of his series on television.
Yeah, dude, I want to see some of that.
Dude, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. What a great idea. And when you hear about the fact that he held out for 6 or 7 years before letting this thing go to television so that he got the right network, so it didn't get bastardized, just a really good
Smart
story.
Move. Yeah.
So yeah, man, lots of stuff coming up. Again, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you for hanging out with us. Shop Talk coming to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with some news, some entertainment, and we usually start it off with a little thing we like to call the news. Big breath, because first up in the news tonight is Harley-Davidson halts electric motorcycle production. Manufacturer tells customers not to charge live wire bike at home.
Oh, that's good stuff right there.
Oh, boy. So Harley-Davidson has stopped production and deliveries of its first electric motorcycle after discovering a problem related to the vehicle's charging equipment, a major setback for a product the company is counting on to rejuvenate sales. Motorcycle maker said it suspended production of live wire model as it conducts tests to investigate the problem. The company said Monday that the tests were progressing well, but didn't say when production would resume.
Can we do the breaking news thing?
Go ahead. Come on, you got to say the rest of it. You started this shit.
This just in.
Harley-Davidson resumes live wire production.
That was just like a little hiccup. Like
It was
just planned. Let me tell you.
in the same week. This coming in from Engadget. Harley-Davidson resumes live wire electric motorcycle production. The company says the charging issue it discovered last week only affected a single bike.
One motorcycle shut the whole place down.
But wait a
A
minute.
magic bullet, if you will.
In all fairness,
Wait.
they're
fairness?
only
Go ahead, go ahead.
right now. Well, and actually, it's not even fair. It's just a statistic. They've only made 1,100 of. There isn't even enough of these motorcycles to put in every dealership.
What's the cost of them?
$30,000.
Okay, well here.
$1,000.
Okay, give us your 30 grand. We're going to deliver your motorcycle. Oh, by the way, you can't charge it.
Right.
Just
Oh,
to
yeah.
let you know.
Well, and the charging has been
It's a great table centerpiece.
has been a big question since the beginning of this. But in this same report, they go on to talk about the fact that Harley-Davidson is doing its best to create an infrastructure within their dealer network to handle this issue. So we'll keep an eye on that. But for anybody who was wondering, the production has resumed and
Everybody can relax now.
motorcycles are on their way to dealerships.
It's back.
So a few weeks ago, we talked about Ewan McGregor doing his ride. Him and one other guy, they do their big ride, and they're going to be doing it on a live wire this year. And these are very long, arduous, difficult terrain roads. Why would Harley-Davidson not put them on the Pan America that they're launching?
Well, it'll be okay there because it just said don't charge it at home. You can charge it anywhere else, apparently. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, like when they did it on their BMW, it was specifically, BMW did it because they wanted to sell more of their adventure
Right.
bikes. Completely get it. But the trip that they're making on this live wire, the average person can't do because they can't have all the chase vehicles with the charging equipment and the road crews and the this and that. On the Pan America that they're going to be launching, which is an adventure bike, wouldn't that make more sense?
Well, we're not making any sense here at all on this one. So
I don't know.
I mean, I got to agree with it. It almost doesn't make any sense.
It really, really doesn't. Just saying.
Well, but there it is. We brought you the news. In case you were
And
wondering.
the breaking news.
Here's some other
That-
news. Wrong mark. Deb said no more whiskey for Harley. So this is a personal message. Again, you're getting personal messages
boy.
here on the show, but go ahead. I mean, nothing,
if nothing else.
What do I know? I'm not saying anything.
text, so,
I'm not saying
everybody has to contact me through this.
you're
now.
not kidding.
Just how I roll. Technology is my thing.
All right, back to the news. This is a great story from Union Leader. Memorial erected for fallen 7 killed in the Randolph crash. You guys might have heard about this when we were all on our way home from Laconia.
Yeah, it was big news then.
7 members who and supporters of the Jarheads Motorcycle Club were struck and killed June 21st by a driver who swerved in the eastbound lane on Route 2. They were riding horses of iron. Union Leader.
You said that out loud.
I know. So it was the Union Leader's words, not mine, that said some ridiculous stuff like that. So on Saturday, the spot where the fateful trip began, the fallen 7 got wings of steel. During an emotional midday ceremony, a metal sculpture depicting the 5 Harley-Davidson motorcycles ridden by the 7 was unveiled in front of Mount Jefferson View Motel and Cabins.
It looks like a cool memorial.
Yeah, really cool thing that they did there. It goes on to say that there's plans to get a granite memorial together, and they're collecting money for that. But apparently the Volodymyr Zukowski, 23 of West Springfield, Mass, operating a westbound pickup truck that was towing a trailer, crossed the double yellow line and struck the motorcycles. Terrible, terrible thing that went on. He's actually been charged with 7 counts of negligent homicide, held without bail, and that story continues. But for the memorial, we thank the friends and family that got that thing together. We'll keep you guys up to breast as for the granite sculpture when it comes together.
Yeah, that was a
Joanne Jones. Heather, I remember working with you at the Broken Spoke.
Yeah, I'm trying. I have to apologize.
Oh boy, she's apologizing.
Which Broken Spoke? It could have been one of a couple, but I do apologize. At times I had a very large staff and crew working for me, and
Did you just
so
have a
people.
blonde moment right on the air?
No, I'm openly admitting that I am horrible with names.
I know. I have a blonde moment all the time on there.
I'm horrible with names. And Joanne, if I saw you, I would probably remember you, so please forgive me.
Send a peck.
There you go.
What?
He said send a pic. This is not, listen, don't start Snapchatting on this show. It's not going to happen, buddy. Tony
Rich
right now.
Petoniak is in the house. Hello,
Oh,
Rich.
boy.
Are you ready, Rich?
Oh,
Are
we're
you
gonna see
ready?
Rich here real
Rich is
soon.
coming to the big show. Hey, listen, you got any give Rich a pep talk, Mark.
Oh, jeez.
Go ahead. Rich is coming as an in-motion builder.
I'm gonna give him pep talk for the drive. Lots of coffee. That's all I can tell you.
We're supposed to hook him up with Peffer, by the way.
Oh, sweet Jesus!
He's gonna
Lots of oh well, Peffer will bring coffees. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
Just have Peffer making one of them little coffees he makes at shop. You'll drive to freaking Nova Scotia
That's wrong direction, Mark.
and back. It
wrong
doesn't matter.
direction.
Once you have a couple of them coffees, Peffer makes you're golden. You can drive anywhere.
Rich says he's in the garage now detailing the bike.
Rich, can you come to ours too?
All right,
please?
let's go back to the news because we're doing good. We're on track.
We
Whatever.
This from the journal Eureka, Jones County's newspaper. Parham donates bikes to Strawberry Hill.
Jill Parham,
Yeah,
National
fantastic.
Motorcycle Museum. Couldn't not bring that up.
So Jill Parham, physical education teacher Jeff Alderdice, assistant principal Eric Johnson, and principal Ellen Recker, along with a class of kindergartners from Strawberry Hill Elementary, were on hand when a donation of bikes received for use in physical education courtesy of Parham. So I'm assuming these are the Strider. Yep, there you go. Strider Learn to Ride bikes, helmets, and curriculum. Good for her. We've been talking about this for 2 months now about, who's going to step up and start doing this stuff. Of course it would be Jill, right?
And I think if I read correctly when I was perusing the article, over the next 5 years, those bikes are going to get 5,000 kids learning to ride.
Wow. Isn't that
How
incredible?
incredible is that? 5,000 kids will be able to learn how to ride through that one donation. So kudos to the Parham family.
Hey, a little hello from Kansas from Mariah Sawyer. Welcome to Shop Talk.
She is in Kansas, Toto.
Listen, can I apologize for that, Mariah?
No, she is in Kansas, Toto. She said from Kansas.
All right.
Good Lord.
Bike Week will feature Daytona TT, Daytona 200 doubleheader.
Ooh, you go.
In the past, the dirt track race and Daytona 200 were held on different days during Bike Week. In 2020, they will be combined to make a unique motorcycle racing doubleheader. About damn time that some of these things turn back into celebrations of motorcycles. That's all we have to
Hell
say.
yeah.
right.
Tom Kiefer is in the house. He just got finished racing Sons of Speed on Friday night. How'd you do, Tom?
Under the lights, Tom.
You're in one piece, so you couldn't have sucked too bad.
He put a post up. Did you see his post where he says, well, it's a little blurry? I'm like, yeah, that nighttime at speed, that's a trip, right?
Yeah. Brings a whole new meaning to
I'm so bummed we missed
racing
it.
under the
I
lights.
know. We're going to have some coverage coming up from that, man. It looked spectacular, but from what I heard from Roadside, like the whole thing under the lights was the way to go.
That's got to be cool as hell to watch. Those guys go out there and throw it down. And again, under the lights, people don't realize what a difference it makes from racing daylight to the glare, the goggles. God forbid you steam up a hair, game over.
I did hear that they think the bikes ran better because it was much cooler than it usually is in the heat of the day. So they were flying.
Wow,
Ooh.
Kiefer got second in both heat and final behind Roxy Hannell. Right on.
Right
you.
on. Good for you, Kiefer.
Danny
Congratulations.
Danny Horton's in from Kentucky. You're down there by our boy Will at Faith Forgotten. And Petoniak says, did you watch the Katy Perry Harley video?
I'm sorry, Rich. I totally forgot.
Well,
You sent it to me.
Damn,
My
I
bad.
usually don't miss anything Katy Perry does. See?
He says it was horrible.
All right, my volume's off. I'm gonna watch it right now. So Let's see.
Oh, boy.
Here, let's watch a video of Heather watching a video.
No, let's not. Let's
I'm just
not.
kidding. All right, moving back to the news.
Harley's in Hawaii is the name of it. Katy Perry, Harley's in Hawaii.
Great. I wonder what that cost her.
Moving back to the news. I'm running this piece.
You are?
Well, just take the camera off of me. We're good.
Wait, you think you are?
2020 AMA Arena Cross National Championships announced. This coming in from our friends at Racer X. Pickering, Ohio, the 12-event AMA Arena Cross National Champion Series gets underway January 3rd in Loveland, Colorado, as top riders from across the country compete on national television. The 2020 Championship Series is organized by Todd Hammock, who has operated an indoor motocross series since '95. Always a great way to get through the winter and ramp up the season. And
do you know what I didn't realize is they're just now getting tied in to be an AMA sanctioned event. That's what's so special about this.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
which like the outdoors and
Right. So I think that's awesome.
And again, to keep that alive through the winter, I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's pretty cool. In certain areas where there's no way that they could do that unless they put studs in the tires.
well, and
Snow
again,
tires.
again, back to the thing about it being real racing. I got all the respect in the world for.
It's all on the wrong half of the country, though.
Well,
Seriously, Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado,
Now see,
Reno,
are
Utah.
you saying wrong half because it's on the other side of the country?
Well, yeah, because
Oh.
that means I can't go. So
Oh,
that's
got ya.
the wrong half.
did I mention to you that
You
this
could
is a
go.
nationally syndicated show? Right? I mean, you just called half of our viewers the wrong half.
No. It's only the wrong half because it's the half I'm not going to be in at that time of year.
Okay.
Well, we will be in Texas.
Nice
Just
save.
pretend.
Wrong time of year, though. It doesn't start till January. Although if we move to Texas like I've been wanting to, it would be the right part of the
That's
country.
going to be a big move. 2 houses, a whole garage,
Oh, boy.
2 dogs, 2 cats, and Mark's
cats?
dad.
Oh, here we go again.
Hey, we want to send out a special happy birthday, though, to Mark's dad, Tony Persichetti, celebrating his 85th birthday yesterday.
85 going on 17.
Right? And when I stopped at Mark's house today, he was in a food coma. I thought somebody had taken his eyeballs.
No, he couldn't even speak at that point.
Right.
I come back, the house was dark. It was yeah. I got to say though, I'm super happy to have him around. Like my
Yes,
mom's
sir.
been gone a couple years, and that old man there is my second half.
He's
so-
awesome. I love when he goes and I can get him to tell stories about the dates he would take your mom on.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when they were married,
Back
like
in the
they would
day.
have date night. He
Yeah, that
took
was-
his wife on the most amazing date nights and set every man up for failure. Let me
Yeah.
tell you what.
If by any chance I can say that man's definitely my hero. So I love him to death, and he means the
buddy.
world to me. So happy birthday, Dad! I love you.
John Bug Killer Baker's thanking me. What did I do,
Oh, boy.
John?
Whatever
Did
you
I
did,
do
you got
something?
thanked
If
for
whatever
it.
I did, you're welcome.
All right, well, moving on with the show. One more time, I want to remind you guys we're coming to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney studio. This is Shop Talk. We're going to take a quick 2 minutes and do some business for the show. Then we're going to come back. We're going to get to our first guest for the hour, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you with Shop Talk.
What's up, guys and gals? My name is Ruben, and I'm accompanied by my colleague Garrett. We both work here at Boatwell Customer Service Department. Garrett also works with the Warranty Return and Exchange. He's the head of that department. If you've ever called the shop or visited the showroom, you've more than likely spoken to either of us. And today we're going to go over how to find the right helmet size for you. First, we're going to start by measuring off Garrett's head with the tailor's tape. So let's first get our first measurement. Wrap that around. So when we're getting our measurement, we want to measure right above the eyebrow where your head is the largest, and Garrett is right at 23.5 inches, which puts him at an XL. So he's gonna grab this extra large gringo and try it on. And when you're starting to try on the helmet, start at the D-rings as Garrett's demonstrating, not just pushing at the top of the head and smushing it down. Just open up that with the D-rings and you'll be all set. So this helmet looks like it fits pretty snug on Garrett. Nice fitting. It's not pushing his cheeks up too much like a chipmunk. It's not too loose as he shakes his head, so go ahead and shake your head. So that's a proper fitting helmet. So now let's go into what a improper fitting helmet looks like, and we're actually going to use this lane splitter, which is a double XL. And again, same thing as before, use the D-rings, pull the helmet open, slide it on. And once he gets it all cinched up and buckled up, he's going to do that little shake test again. And once he does that, you'll notice a little too much movement. So all our full face helmets are going to be DOT and ECE certified, and they're considered an intermediate oval shape, which makes them a little bit more snug, so you might not be accustomed to the fit initially, but all you got to worry about is really the crown of the head. That's the most important part. If you're able to get the helmet on and the cheek pads are a little bit too tight, you can always get thinner or thicker cheek pads, whatever is needed to get you that perfect fit. That basically wraps it up. If you run into any issues whatsoever, feel free to always give us a call at the shop at 951-699-1500 or email us at service@builtwellinc.com.
So thanks to everybody who sponsors Shop Talk and helps us bring it to you every week. Remember that every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or if you're too busy to watch us live, you can always pick us up at motoshoptalk.com as a podcast or from iTunes or Google Play on any of your mobile devices. You can pick up that podcast. Going to go to our first guest, which very shortly here, we're all Texas bound for the Lone Star Rally. And obviously the third In Motion show, the third incantation of In Motion.
I'm so excited.
Yep. It's going to be fun.
I love the Lone Star Rally.
And this is a surprise guest. We're mostly going to surprise you with it, Mark.
Oh, boy.
We're actually going to have Clinton Wallace on tonight.
You shut your mouth.
Yep. How about that?
Spend some quality time with old Clinton Wallace.
Right on.
Isn't he just a good human being,
Yes, he
Mark?
is. Yep. Meet Clinton, Jeff Cochran, and Dana spent pretty much the whole weekend together, and we had nothing but fun. I got to throw Mitch in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, Mitch Bodine.
We're gonna get Mitch on the phone on the show pretty soon.
Yeah, Mitch is the man.
But let's real quick. Let's get to the phone lines here and talk to Clinton. See if we can get him on.
Wait, while you do that, Mike Draco said they did a toy run in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio. 3,348 motorcycles. Hot damn, that's bitchin'.
Yeah, I saw a post from Minnie. Yeah, they said they were just
Hello.
Clinton, what's up, man? You're live on Shop Talk.
What's happening?
Oh, dude, I am so bummed that I missed Tennessee and didn't get to hang out with you and Cecil.
Yeah, that's.
Cecil was in Tennessee too.
Yep.
I only have one.
yeah.
I only have one
Oh,
question,
damn
Clinton.
it.
How's the baby?
Yeah. Huh?
How's the baby doing? Is the baby okay?
Oh yeah, the baby has survived the trip. Everything is
boy.
good. Yeah.
All right, wait a minute, Clinton. It hasn't been that long since you and I talked. What baby?
Oh, my mother has her a new dog.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was like,
and
whoa,
a
slow your
leopard
roll.
skin stroller that the dog
Yeah.
spent the whole weekend in.
What?
So-
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
what?
y'all missed it.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, leopard skin stroller. It was pretty top of the line.
Yeah,
let
it
me
was
tell
bought specifically for this trip.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But
Oh
your
yeah.
mama doesn't have all dogs.
you. Oh, it's small.
Yeah. This is a Boston Terrier? I think she got.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I hear that the problem in the tent wasn't snoring, it was the dog.
Oh
So-
my God! And especially what was it? The last night they decided to set off fireworks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that didn't go over very well.
So,
Yeah.
but
All right.
we had some fun down there.
So listen.
Oh, yeah.
You're the man of the hour. What we want to talk to you about tonight, with In Motion coming up, and you were a contestant in Motion last year. What a lot of people probably don't know is you've been my Texas connection. God, almost going on a decade now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But Clinton helps us every year get what one of the criteria of the judging is that we have 40% of the judging is what we call members of the trade. And Clinton helps us round up guys that are welders and painters and metal fabricators to come into this show and actually judge these motorcycles based on how the work was done. And since Clinton was not able to participate as a contestant in this year's show, we've actually added his name in to the judging, because bike builders and fabricators make the best judges, man. Like somebody who does this work, there's no one more well equipped to judge a show. So what we wanted to talk to you tonight is, how do you feel about that?
Man, I enjoy everything about that show. I mean, y'all, as far as I'm concerned, y'all have nailed the criteria for everything, I mean, like I said, because, man, there's such a diversity of bikes that show up at that show that, I mean, you have to be able to break things down the way y'all do the judging and stuff like that. I mean, otherwise it's just personal preference type deal, and stuff like that. But the way y'all have everything set up, I mean, everything is broke down from the paint to the welding, just every little bit and pieces of it. And that's the only way to judge that, because, I mean, otherwise I wouldn't even know where to begin.
It would definitely be too hard. Like you said, the diversity, there's not two of the same bikes, so it's crazy.
No, and that's what makes it awesome, because most any other show you wouldn't see bikes that different in one show competing against each other. They'd be in different classes or some, not all competing for the same prize.
Yeah, right.
Well, and that was one of the things early on too that was kind of hard, because some of the builders have actually said, maybe what you want to do is separate it to this kind of bike and that kind of bike, and I feel that way partially, and part of me thinks too that it doesn't matter what you're building, the
bottom line is
what
you
achieve, like your ability to get that done, no matter what your platform, no matter what the pallet is.
This is almost the bike version of run what you brung kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, if you're good at the long bikes, obviously Clinton is a long bike guy.
Let's not talk about that.
So,
all right. Well, just because you said that, I'm gonna let people in on the secret. So, Chris is a total long bike guy. He loves choppers. Clinton is a long bike guy, and he builds bitchin' choppers. And Chris is always a little bit sad and a little bit disheartened when Clinton's is bigger than Chris's.
Ooh, it's all about size.
Now this is
size matters.
This is as if it couldn't get more embarrassing. My wife just on a national program just admitted that another man's is bigger than mine, and that I'm affected by that.
Clinton, you have to show up there with the biggest freaking belt buckle known to man right now. So
all right.
No, but this is the bitch about it. So Clinton builds a long bike. I had a long bike. I had a panhead chopper. Clinton builds a long bike. It's longer than my panheads. So I build another long bike, and it's longer. Then Clinton comes out with a bike that I can only describe to you as the front wheel is a block away from the back.
Can
wheel.
you have a picture of that? Can you put it up?
It's scrolling.
We need to call Dana from Suicide Choppers to bring that big long thing just to show
he's
everybody.
Gonna be he's coming a Lone Star. He's setting up there.
He needs to just bring that bike and shut everybody the hell up.
Yeah.
The bike Chris is referencing is that beautiful gold chopper that you'll see roll across the screen. So not only did Clinton build that, he rode the hell out of it at the rally. Obviously, you can see him riding it. So it's a rider. Those people that say it's a trailer queen.
Oh, he hauls ass on that bike.
He hauls ass on it. He did trailer it there, but the trailer is huge to get that bike there.
I will
just so
send an
y'all
open
know.
invitation out to anybody that thinks it's a trailer queen. Just give me a call, and we'll go off for a ride, and we'll see.
See if you can keep
Right.
up, right?
None of your
Exactly.
bikes are trailer. You ride the
No.
hell out of everything
Yeah.
you build.
That is absolutely pointless.
Here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know right now. There's a picture when we're scrolling through all this stuff of you and Jeff Cochran standing in what appears to be a marijuana field.
Ooh.
It's actually the alley at Lone Star.
Why wasn't I invited to that place?
Listen, am I right though? Did you see the
no.
picture?
It's too far away. I can't see it.
That's great.
How come I never get invited to the good stuff?
It was actually after Jeff won last year. I think you were
Oh,
congratulated.
that was on the way out of the. I remember that. That was on the way out. I think Jeff won, and we were on the road within like 11 minutes.
That's what I was going to say. The way
like-
out happened very quickly.
It sure did.
So
No time for pictures.
Talk about just picking up the check.
yeah,
Right?
Clinton, you've competed in motion in 2018, and you did really well. You went
Yes.
away with a front end, right?
Yep.
Or a
From
front.
Paco, yeah.
Well, it's a then, but
Sure enough.
And this year you're judging. How do
Yep.
you, are you bummed you're not competing, or are you glad you're judging?
No. I mean, I'm actually glad I'm judging this year because, as far as I'm concerned, I mean that y'all are putting on one of the biggest shows, as far as I'm concerned. With one of the biggest prizes. You don't need to come to that show with anything less than something spectacular in my mind.
Amen.
And I mean, exactly. And if I can't come to the table with something like that, and for me, with the way I work and everything like that, coming out with a bike in a year, that's really a short time frame for me.
Okay, you can say that Bobby took everything away from you this year, and you dedicated everything to Bobby. Go ahead, because it's a great cause, and we all understand. So good, just say it.
Yeah. My finances went to the horses literally this year. So, but yeah, I mean, there was no chance in me bringing something that I thought would be worthy of it. So I'm not even going to attempt it. I'll bow out, and I'll be more than happy to be a judge because I'm still getting to be a part of the event, the show. I mean, I think it's a great event. So, and then maybe next year I'll have something to bring to the table.
Man, I'll tell you what, like not to discourage you at all, but we're actually going to start announcing some of next year's guys at the end of this year's show. You will not believe some of the people that are already confirmed for next year too. Like
awesome.
Next year for the 4th year, this thing is really blowing open, man. It's impressive.
Well, and I think a lot of it goes back to what the show is about. It's not just another bike show that, at the end of the day, you can complain about whatever. No, this is the real deal.
There's very little to complain about on this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you hear, Clinton, that the shakedown ride this year is going to be 70 miles?
That's what I'm talking about. That's the one thing that after last year that I thought needed, because the ride last year, and I know there was changes right at the last minute, but it was through town and around, and all that. And I think that it needs to be split up. You need to have some in town and some out, get it up to highway speeds, and let's see what holds together and what don't.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. And hopefully this year everybody's going to get a map. Because for some reason, 12 of you last year couldn't manage to stay together in 20 miles. We can keep 100 people together, but we couldn't keep 12 of you together. So they're going to get maps.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean almost caught on fire? There's pictures of Pepper coming back.
God.
He shows up, like explodes out of one of the side streets, and that knucklehead was on fire, dude. It had to be.
Right? He was smoking. That was, something? The boy never quit.
Nope, he's such a badass.
Hunted the cop down, found some directions, and went and met the crew. Like, man, I give him all the credit in the world. He kills it.
So, Clinton, we're actually riding the whole way to the Pirate Bar this year.
And as a judge, sweet. Clinton, you can ride with them, just so you know, and that will better judge the rideability factor. And we invite all our judges to do that, actually.
No, I think all the judges should participate in that, because to me that's one of the biggest criteria of the show. It's in motion.
Yeah, they see.
They need to see firsthand how the bike's performing, and that they did complete mile for mile the same that everybody else did.
Yep.
I think that's a critical part.
Yeah, because the riding half of it, being able to visualize what these bikes, how they handle, what they do on the road, since you can't personally ride them, everybody that's going to be a part of the judging and a part of the staffing has got to see these things stopping and running, and whether the riders are beating themselves up. Because in all reality, building these bikes for yourself, I mean, you build these bikes for yourselves for the show. But if you sell one of these things, the person that buys this bike's got to get on that thing and ride it. So, in all reality, it's a full circle kind of event, which is pretty awesome. I think it's one of the better ones out there. There's a few like this, but the heart here in the setup and the way that we go from side to side of this little of Galveston, is so just cool. One of the coolest events ever. It's not one place. Everybody gets to split up, and it's a lot of fun. That's a good event. So,
I'm very excited to see
definitely one of the best. And I'm excited about coming. Clinton got a really bad meal in Tennessee. I think.
Hey, all I'm going to say is never go to a steakhouse.
See?
All I'm going to say.
Clinton, you should know that.
I had to school him. I had to school him.
The first night,
never ordered
and then
Italian
we decided
food.
to do something different, and it's not good. It
never,
was bad.
Never order Italian food in a steakhouse.
However, I have a special person that's going to make me some homemade fettuccine.
I
don't know. He might be part of y'all's group.
Yeah,
but
I know exactly. So,
Heather,
listen. Mark's comes back from Tennessee. We're hanging out at the shop, and he says, "Yeah," he said, "I'm going to stop by Clinton's house early on the way to Lone Star." I was like, "Oh, right on, man." I said, "It's great. Like him and his old lady are the greatest people." And he goes, "Yeah," he told me, stop by early, and I was like, "Oh, it'll be nice to, not have to rush to get there." And he goes, "Well, you know, aside from that, he said, then you can make some fettuccine while you're here. And I was like,
I think that's why Clinton likes when we come stay at the house, because they go out to work and they come home and I've made dinner.
That is so great. I'm telling you.
So as long as
I agree. Y'all need to just move down here.
as long as
telling
we
you,
get,
see?
we got to get Cochran on board for the stay early thing. So you better get on him,
Right.
Clinton. So me and
Yeah.
Dana are ready to go. We're packed. We're ready to leave. So
I'm gonna start sending him messages every day from today forward.
hey, we got some people coming in from social media. Arthur Starbird says choppers making their way back. For a lot of us, they went
yeah,
anywhere.
they didn't go anywhere.
Right?
Carlos says my long chopper rides like a Cadillac. Let's do 1,000 miles.
And Carlos rides the shit out of that thing too. So
Mariah again from Kansas. Dennis Stauber, Choppers Rule, checking in from Marengo, Illinois.
Dennis,
What's up,
have you
man?
met Steve Peffer?
Choppers Rule?
do I
Choppers
see
rule.
Mitch Bodine up there?
Is he?
Is that what's on the? Oh no, I was off. Sorry. I was gonna say I thought Mitch jumped in
like,
halfway
damn
through
it.
that.
Poor Clinton. So we're super excited. Like, keeping these two on the tracks is hard.
Hey, he spent enough time
Correct.
with us to know. So
Oh yeah.
and he's in the same. Who are you kidding? He's in the same boat. We spent the whole weekend together trying to figure out what the hell's going on half the time.
Yeah, exactly.
We did do one of the coolest things though, going on that little run to do some video, and we pushed Clinton into doing some gun shooting, which was a ton of
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Which was awesome. Did Chris tell you what happened to those videos, by the way?
Nuh-uh.
No boy.
They forgot to turn the microphone on.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was
all right.
looking for it because
I'm
I was gonna show some people the video of it. And I was like, man, I can't find him. I said, something must have happened.
I'm gonna put some audio to it. It's all good. It's all good.
Chris is going to do a voiceover.
I might do it. I might do it like the old kung fu movies.
Yeah.
So I see you've been practicing your gun.
So even if you ask, okay, is that song, does it look good? Check yourself from here on in. You know. But we did have fun. That little that golf cart run with Clinton was our chauffeur. The little golf cart run was a
good Lord.
bunch of fun. So we had
Yep.
so much. I mean, I'll tell you, I got to say anything I can to Buck and to Bill. It was a great event. We had a blast. I mean, I told him earlier, Clinton, the rain, the cold didn't stop us. We did what we had to do.
No,
And,
that was my first time at that event, but it's an awesome event. I'd definitely be going back.
That
Yeah.
part of the country is so much fun to ride into, boy.
Yeah.
So Rich Petoniak said, let's ride 200 miles for the show. Let's not push it, Rich, because not everybody out here builds their own motors.
Clinton, you may find us in your driveway, I think, after Lone Star for a day or two.
That's
we have
fine.
some extra time.
Yep.
That's fine.
And we
Pull
haven't-
in and hang out.
I know.
We
I want to
haven't
see
seen
Miss Bobby.
Bobby.
It's been
Yeah.
too,
'Cause-
and I want to see
Yeah.
her compete.
She's
buddy.
she's competing a lot, and like I said, the end of her season is the first or second weekend of December, so it's almost coming to the end. And I think after that, we're gonna take a much needed few months off.
Right
So
on.
for those of you that haven't had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Clinton or Miss Bobby Wallace, two of the greatest people you ever meet, and what a fantastic story. Like, he is 100% motorcycle, she is 100% horses. She competes in rodeo, and they have this natural agreement. It's nothing that's forced, and you can tell when you spend any time with them. When he's doing something and he's big, got big stuff to go on with the motorcycles, she puts all her effort and time into it. Vice versa, when she's got a lot of stuff going on with the rodeos, he puts his time in. Dude, very, very good example of how to support each other.
She even
man.
cuts the grass with the lawn tractor while he's not.
Hey, don't play around. That girl plays
Oh,
no
I
games.
know.
She works
No
harder
games.
than most men
Yep.
I know.
Did
Like,
she?
seriously.
Is she still not allowed to use the lawn tractor?
Man, she probably still knows how to use it. I just try to keep her off of a lawn tractor. I keep her on bigger equipment.
Poor Bobby, you leave her alone.
Oh, she's freaking awesome.
She is incredible.
Yeah, that is like his mom and dad and her and like that is one of the greatest groups to hang out with. Like you, every time you're with them, you feel like you're at home. Just love being with you guys.
Yep.
So just a good time. Always
Awesome.
enjoy it.
Well, cool, man.
Yep.
We're gonna let you go here, but we'll see you in short order in Texas.
That'll work. Can't wait to see y'all.
Mark will be there early with the fettuccine, and then
Get on
That's
Jeff.
what I'm talking about.
It's
looking-
your job to get on Jeff. So
I will be on Jeff. And
Right
if
on, man.
Jeff don't come on time, he's gonna have to drive himself. Just keep coming with the fettuccine.
well, then you have to Beverly. So now you're on your own. So.
Right.
All right, Clinton. We'll talk to you again in a little bit, buddy. Thank you.
All right. See y'all later.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Why don't you go ahead and catch up on social media while I try to get our next guest lined up, because this is going to take a minute.
Oh, geez, look, Carlos. And you have to do a half a block wheelie to see how the welds hold up at the end. No, Carlos, you
Is he
just shut your
smoking?
mouth.
Is he smoking again?
Well, he is in Colorado. I
Please
think
enjoy this
everybody that
horizon ring
lives
back
there
tone while your
just
party
has
retreats.
a constant contact high.
That's odd. I love that music.
Hello.
Xavier.
Yes.
Okay. We're live on the air, but hang on for a minute. I'm going to see if I can add Robert to this.
Oh,
Okay.
It's a
Hello,
doubler.
Huff.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
Well, I am currently. I'm good, actually. I'm at my Mr.
Apparently not real well.
We're buffing my paint. Mr. Rob Churchill from Art Circus. I'm in his place right now, and we're buffing paint. So
Oh,
I'm
that
doing
sounds
well.
like fun.
Because we didn't
It
mention
is.
yet. Xavier also in motion bound, and short stop to assemble a motorcycle between now and then.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
Shortstop
see
to
it.
assemble a motorcycle and do some rehearsing and make a rock show. And then when it's all said and done with, on that 3.5 hour drive back home to Austin, just go like this.
All right, let's see if we can get Robert Wagner on at the same time.
I know he's watching. He just started a watch party because he's awesome.
What's going on?
Robert, what's up, buddy?
9 weeks of my life with Mr. Churchill and I over here, just like, literally blowing bubbles.
Okay, so everybody here at the same time?
I believe so. Mr. Wagner, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh my
Can you
God,
hear
I've
me
done
now? You did it,
Done
Mr.
it.
Callen.
Unbelievable.
You're a genius.
it. So this is the official announcement then.
Yes.
Saturday, November 2nd, 6 to 7:30 on the Sangerfest stage. The Black Smoke Sinners will take the stage for the first time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So super fired up about this. But the coolest thing about this whole project, and not even just because, I get to be involved in this and stuff, but everyone in the band rides and builds motorcycles and not like a, they ride so that they get PR and stuff. This is what everybody does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like my boy Rob on the other end, though, and Mr. Jake Sherrard, guitar player for the Sinners, came out yesterday and hung out with me, and they rode out. It was a beautiful Texas day, and we talked music, and we just kind of hung out. And it's, nobody's getting paid to ride motorcycles, but we do it because we love it. So it's really cool, man. Now if there's somebody out there that wants to pay us to ride motorcycles, that's awesome too.
So let's talk about you guys for a little bit. And Robert, I want to start with you. Give everybody a little sense of your life and times with music, and then we'll get to the motorcycle stuff.
Well, brother, I'm down here in Austin, Texas, and been playing music for about, 30 years. My dad was a musician, mostly known from the 70s, playing with Alice Cooper and Lou Reed and some studio work with Kiss and Aerosmith. So I've been around music my whole life. Spent some years playing with Xavier before he hit it big, humbly speaking. And anyways, so I'm a full-time musician here, and I ride my sled as much as possible, and I'm really excited about this show we're going to do at the Galveston rally, the Lone Star rally. It's going to be smoking.
Right on. Now, to say that you're a full-time musician, that's a little humble of a statement too, because you're working constantly, dude. Constantly. How many projects do you actually have going at one time?
Well, there's always my full-time band. I have two full-time bands. One Sway that plays on the weekends, and Road Collective is my band here in town. We play during the week, and mix it up. But I usually do 4 or 5 shows a week. And then I have a Black Crowes tribute band. I have that Xavier and I have done shows with. And what else am I doing? I'm playing Black Smoke Sinners. Definitely down with that. I got about 5 bands, I guess. And there's always another project on the horizon, but not like I'm it's just throwing projects out there. Everything is a passion project and something I'm really into. So when I say that, I mean there's always another dream of another show somewhere, and this is right now. I'm fully focused on this thing that we're going to do in 2 weeks, and looking forward to getting together with the guys and just knocking it out. We've got some great songs, classic. I mean, the most classic of the classic, and the coolest '70s rock stuff, and some surprises. Man. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yes, sir. A lot of these songs I've been talking to X back and forth while we're working on it. Like, you don't get to hear a lot of this stuff out at the motorcycle rallies. You know, you hear songs from those bands, but the set list that you guys put together is amazing. It's really, really choice stuff.
We like those songs that are they're not deep cuts, you know, where you gotta try to remember where you know that song, but they're not the ones that you hear on heavy rotation for 20 years. So it's gonna be a blast, man. All high energy stuff, and then groovy and stuff for the ladies to
yeah,
dance
it's all stuff
to
that
a little
makes you
bit.
want to move.
Thank you, Heather.
Well,
I think you should come to Texas.
Yeah. That's the whole goal with this thing was, you know, I mean, for years, all of us, me, Rob, Chris, Rob Kellerman, Jake Sherrod, you know, we've been doing this a long, long time, and we go to these events because, you know, we like to be in the motorcycle world and whatnot, and then you hear bands that maybe kind of get it, but then they just don't really put forth like what I call that umph, you know. And at the end of the day, when Rob and I were talking about songs and what we thought would have the most impact, of course, you know, the set list for Rob and I always changes on a daily basis because it's like, well, what about this and what about that? And the next thing you know, we wanted to compile a set that all we want to do at the end of the night is make sure that people have a good time and they dance, and they drink a lot of beer, and they go home and they go, holy shit, who was that band? You know, and I think song selection is a really, really big part of it. And I think most of the bands that do this on the circuit just kind of lose to that. They want to play what the people want to hear, and that's all fine and dandy. But if you don't play it and execute it well, then I mean, what difference does it make? So I think everybody in this unit wants to just go out there and deliver the best show that we possibly can and have a good time doing it. At the end of the day, just have a good time, because if you're not having a good time, I don't want to do it.
And I mostly want to just ride my motorcycle right up to the next to the stage.
Right up to the stage.
Open it up.
Yeah, is that how you guys are going to enter? You all going to ride your bikes up to the stage?
I would like to. That's I mean, poetically. That's
yeah. If I can get it my way, I'd like to see it start off. I mean, that just basically says, okay, we're here and we're going to kick you in the teeth and then we're going to leave. Yeah. And I've spoken to the powers that be about that, so we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But I'm hoping it does, because one, I've never seen anybody do it. Not the entire band. I mean, I was lucky enough to be on tour with Motley for a minute, and they all rode their choppers on. Nikki and Vince and Tommy. Mick didn't as well, but they didn't ride up to the stage. They just ride from the wing to the stage. So that was cool, but I'm talking about like riding all the way up. Barricade opens. We get back to the side by the stage and walk straight off the bike and ride up on deck. And everybody plugs in their amps, and I'm just like, okay, here we go. You know, so.
That would be totally cool. Now,
should be pretty badass.
I have to tell you, like, I'm not a music aficionado, but I know what I like. And going through this whole set list process with Chris, like he would say a couple, and I'd be like, really? And it kind of like would catch me off guard. And then he would play it for me. I'm like, oh yeah. And like,
right.
And I was like, he'd play the song. I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this one. And they're just such good songs that make you want to move, that you don't think of that often.
Right.
But everybody loves them.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, done the way that I know that this quintet can do it. That's the most important thing, because anybody can get up there and play a Molly Hatchet song or an AC/DC song or whatever. But if you don't do it with conviction and with passion and with heart, again, why do it? And just from the get-go, from the launch, with all of us talking about this and then going, okay, now we're really going to make this happen. And then, you got two guys in this band who are just forgive me, fellas, but social media whores, and they're really good. They're really, really good at it. And you got guys like me who have barely I can figure out how to use my damn iPhone. So, it's awesome when everybody gets excited and they start throwing this in and they start throwing that ingredient to the mix. And it's just an exciting thing, man. And I'm super confident that when people see it live, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, but you're not going to deny it. That's all there's.
Xavier,
Yeah.
I prefer social daters.
Okay, yes, right. Well, my two fellas are social influencers. There you go. Exactly. But, it's just it's really awesome. It's really awesome to be in a situation with guys who are proactive about posting stuff and stuff. So everybody has their forte, and it's awesome, man. It's an awesome breath of fresh air.
Now, this is a good time for me to mention we do have a Black Smoke Sinners Facebook page up and a Black Smoke Sinners Instagram. Please go find both of those and like and share. You can get more information about the show. A lot of great pictures of all the guys. And dude, I got to say this live on the air. One day I popped open the page and, I'm starting to do some work on it. And I realized that Robert had been on earlier than me and he put a whole section. It's called Sinners and Sleds. And it's like all of us with the different bikes and stuff, man. And it was just so cool. That's exactly what we talked about. What if there was a band with guys who are really part of this whole thing who just happened to play also? That was great to turn that on and see that, man.
Yeah, and it's
pictures, man. Yeah.
When this goes way back to before Chris, you and I met, and we developed our friendship, and way before I was in that other band. Robert and I were roommates years ago, and we would ride at 7 a.m. after partying all night from a show and go to the radio station, and that guy would get up and sing at 8 a.m. like it was no business. And so, we've been riding together a long time, man. So to actually...
We played Daytona with...
Yeah, and that's how we met Jay Allen.
Was that 20 years ago?
That was 20 years ago. We played the Broken Spoken. I remember taking the van, all the band members, a U-Haul trailer, my 82 FL Shovelhead, his Springer Softail, drum set, full Ampeg. Dude, we had that thing so Tetris, it wasn't even funny. And we played the Spoke 5 sets a night, and then rode back down to the hotel.
That's so awesome. And that
was really cool.
That was what back the Brother Love days.
Yeah. So and then the first time I ran into Jay Allen at one of the Sons of Speed events, he came up to me and he was just like, Xavier, man, I love that band. He was talking about Brother Love, and I was like, wow. So, it's kind of cool that all these years, go by that we're still friends, we still ride, and now we get to make music again together. It's pretty badass. And then to have, you and Rob and Jake be a part of it. I mean, it's just going to be a good time, dude.
That's one of the cool things too. Rob was with me almost the whole way back at the beginning of Cycle Source magazine, and we rode the first Hokahay race together, him on an Indian and me on a Harley, and we, crazy miles that we did across the country and back, and played in a bunch of different bands here. And I always make the joke that Rob Keller taught me about live music, because we had fired our guitar player one weekend, met Rob Keller for the first time because someone gave me his number and said, hey, this guy's good, maybe he could fill in. He came to practice on Wednesday. We learned 4 or 5 of his songs. He learned 4 or 5 of ours, and he said, we'll learn the rest on stage. I had been playing the bass. Now, I'd played music for a good part of my life. I'd been playing the bass at that point for maybe 3 years. And I'm like, what do you mean we'll learn the rest of it on stage, dude? And that's how my life has been with music with Rob Keller ever since then.
Yeah, but Rob's so smooth, he makes it happen like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, Rob's such he's one of those people that can show up with a guitar and make it a show just himself. Yeah. So Rob's
awesome.
So I have to say, just the energy you guys have and the buzz you've created already with these two social media maniacs, People are already seriously, which is great because the energy is happening before the show even happens. So people are going to be there and they're going to be energized and they're going to love it already. So that's a plus.
So what she's saying is the pressure's on.
No,
That's what she's saying. Pretty much.
no.
A game, boys. A game.
Oh no, it's always. I mean, it's like I've said about anything else. Anytime we do something, I mean, I never want to get up there and just be another gig. I want to make it an event, whether it's a small stage, Madison Square Garden, somebody's backyard. I don't care. I want it to be an event, and I think that's the thing that we all strive for. That a lot of other, call it a cover band, a tribute band, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I've seen national acts that look like they're falling asleep up there, and I'm like, why? It makes no sense. So I think that the fact that we're all on the same page, that when we hit stage, it's war, man. It is war,
I'm so excited.
And when, and I've done this, and,
It's
not to
sexy
blow
war.
smoke up anybody's
Sexy war,
butt
that's
or
it.
anything, but like when I'm, in the back, cause I got the best vantage point, man. I get to see everything from that a lot of people don't get to see. And I'm like, yeah, look at that, man. He's just commanding the audience. And look at that guy just banging his head. And, it's an awesome, awesome feeling.
And it's a little freaky too, because the last time we played together, it's when he told me, "Don't wear those pants anymore, dude. They give you diaper butt."
Yeah, and
honesty's a bitch.
Yeah, honesty's a bitch. It's got to be the whole package. It's got the band has to bring their A game. We got to look the part, play the part, and I don't have any doubts that anybody that we're not gonna accomplish the goal. I'm totally confident.
Now let's talk for 2 seconds before we cut you guys loose. I appreciate you taking the time tonight, but without going into it, or as much as you want to, you had mentioned Madison Square.
Oh boy.
Hang on.
Oh Jesus.
You had mentioned Madison Square Garden. I just want to talk about for a minute, because so many people know you now from the motorcycle world and the amazing bikes that you've been building with Providence, out of Providence, your company. But you have, dude, like you are a tenured, accomplished musician. Played Budokan, played Madison Square Garden, played the LA Coliseum, like the biggest venues in the world. I mean, what do you even say about that? Like every one of us who ever touched an instrument or stepped on a stage, that's the dream.
Well, and thanks again for the compliment with Providence, man, because I'm loving this as much as I'm loving music and getting to be a part of an industry with a lot of people that I love and some people that I don't, and that's okay. And that's okay. When Robert and I first met, a quick story. I had moved back from LA. I was bummed. I was about to give up music, blah, 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 blah. And I went to a Mexican restaurant with a girlfriend of mine to have some margaritas and some food. And he was actually at that point in time doing a karaoke thing, which he was really, really popular in the city for. And of course, musicians know each other. And they looked at each other. And he's like, "Hey, man, here's a book if you want to sing." Da, da, da. I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I had my back to him. I'm sitting at the bar. And he gets up and he goes, "Hi, my name's Robert Wagner. I'm going to kick this off tonight." Da, da, da. And he goes, "Hey, Mama said the way you move." Going, and I turned around and I went, "Yes, I'm back in the game." And we always talked about, Robert and I, when we first got the band together, we always talked about getting out of Austin, doing the majors, Madison Square Garden, our hometown arena, the Budokan, because those were the venues that we grew up wanting to be in. And then, lo and behold, I get to play those places. And there was a bunch of them that I would have to pinch myself to go, I'm actually here, like driving around in my car in Austin, listening to Cheap Trick's "I Want You to Want Me" that was at Budokan, or one of the many rock shows from the Madison Square Garden tapings, going, this is just not happening. And then, in the blink of an eye, the show is over and you're like, oh, what just happened? But
right.
Yeah, man. I mean, I never in a million years guessed it would happen. I thought I was going to go, get in that band. We were going to make a record or two. We were going to hate each other. We were going to break up, and that would have been it. I had no idea it was going to last that long with those many records. And, being able to come home to my hometown arena and Rob come out and see me and all my family and all my friends and just kind of go, wow, man. But again, that's kind of the mentality that I still carry over to the, to the Black Smoke Sinners, is when we hit that stage in Galveston, it is Madison Square Garden.
Right.
I am up on deck with my brother.
Hell yeah.
Gonna kick
Hell
you in the face. I'm gonna take your money and, and have a drink on me, and let's do this, So I think that, being able to play those places has really just kind of reestablished my love and my passion for playing music for music's sake, not for anything else. All that other stuff was fringe benefit, and it was awesome, and I'm grateful for it. But that being able to be up on stage with guys that I dig, that I respect, and play music and feel that sense of what I call the breath between the kick drum and the snare drum that makes Robert like put that thumb in his back pocket, grab the mic, and do what he does, and then look over and see you doing what you do. And I mean, that's just a great, and everybody who's bags on drummers, like, oh, drummer this and drummer that. I'm like, man, I get to sit down and watch this for an hour and 25 minutes. I'm the luckiest dude in the world, So
no, it's the greatest. And honestly, like I've played with both you guys one time. Both you consummate professionals, and like, Xavier's one of my favorite musicians in the world to watch play live music. But the energy, and I had so much fun playing that one short gig with you guys. Like, this is just it's going to be that kind of band. It's going to be that much fun.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I mean, to look around and see your guys smiling, and then look down and see a bunch of people dancing and spilling really bad margaritas and beer on themselves. That's the shit right there, man. So.
Hey, it's gonna be a Saturday night in Galveston, Texas, man.
It's gonna be awesome.
Right on, man. Well, listen, thank you guys for coming on again. Make sure you hit the Facebook page, the Instagram for Black Smoke Sinners. Look for us in Galveston next, but man, it's gonna be good stuff out there.
And the plan is to take it into 2020, and we'll see you at an event somewhere down the road.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, thank you very much for the time tonight.
Hey, I love the show, you guys. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks,
buddy.
Robert.
We'll talk at you. Bye.
So everybody's asking if we can air it Facebook Live.
We are going to put a Facebook Live. The only thing about that, we'll do some videos and stuff for after the fact. We'll edit them down. Facebook Live sound always sucks, so we'll put it up, but it's not going to be as good a quality as what I'm sure the sound man's going to deliver for us.
Well, oh no, I can't do that. Never mind.
Mark?
Are you awake?
We back? Are we back again? Breaking news.
Steve
ShopTalk.
Broyle says,
I got lost.
Steve Broyle says, hands down, it will be great. I wish you were going to be there, Steve. Maybe you can join us next year.
Show up. Just come.
How good would it be for Poppy to take the stage with us and play some drums? See, because that's the thing. Like a lot of you guys might not realize this, but there are people throughout the industry like Steve Broyles plays the drum. Billy Lane plays the guitar. Jeff Cochran plays the guitar. Like, there's so many people involved in this thing that have a musical background. We're in bands and stuff, and you just don't know that every time we get a chance, we're going to grab those guys. I was just talking to Mark Velasquez the other day.
Oh, yeah.
About getting him to come up and play bass at one of these.
Yeah, Dana said something the other day about how come you don't pick up the guitar or bass anymore. I said, because there's 900 other guys that do it. You know what I mean?
But there's only one of you, Mark.
Well, I know that, but that's just because I do my modeling thing, you know?
All right, man. Hey, let's get back on track because this is a motorcycle program. We are going to go to our next guest right after this short break. First, I want to remind you guys that this is Shop Talk, coming to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And after a quick break here, we'll be back with some more Shop Talk.
tremendous respect for craftsmanship and working with your hands. I'd like to share that with you and help you understand what I see in craftsmanship. So I worked with Algonquin Books and put together A Craftsman's Legacy, Why Working with Our Hands Gives Us Meaning. This is fantastic. It's available May 7th, everywhere books are sold, even in ebook format. Make sure to check it out.
So that last piece was to introduce our next guest, Eric Gorgeous. I keep saying that wrong. Eric Gorgeous from Voodoo Choppers. Been a long time fan of Eric's work, but just recently got turned on to some of the other side of what he does, and we're going to bring him on tonight to talk about his book, A Craftsman's Legacy. So stick around. We're going to get him on the phone real quick.
Hello.
Okay, first I have to apologize because I slaughter your last name.
No worries, man.
Dude, I'm so happy to get to talk to you tonight, though. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, watching what you do, both with your bike builds and the stuff that you wrote for the Horse magazine, and it's just a real pleasure to catch up with you. You're one of my most admired craftsmen.
Hey, thank you. Very kind of you to say.
No, absolutely, man. So we're gonna jump right into this. So, Voodoo. You've told me 20 years this year. Voodoo's out there. You're still building bikes. You still got a backlog. That's a testimony in itself to the kind of work that you do. But what we're going to talk about tonight is A Craftsman Legacy, the book, but also we want to talk about A Craftsman Legacy, the public broadcasting series, because man, I got turned on to this just in prep for the show, and I got to tell you, this is a solid piece of work that you have here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, happy to talk about whatever.
So, this thing started back in 2014, the show series. Tell everybody a little synopsis about what the show's about and what you do in each episode.
Sure. Yeah. So, in the show, I travel around the U.S. and I work with all kinds of different craftsmen. It's a combination of woodworking and metalworking and stone carving and glass blowing and textiles and everything and anything. We've done it. We've got 4 seasons out, and we're working on putting season 5 together. So,
right on.
It's been a blast. I love it, man. I learned so much.
Now, what I talked about early on when we were doing the show open and I was announcing you being on, you were telling me it took 6 or 7 years to get this show together, and one of your biggest sticking points was you didn't just want this to go to any network that was going to bastardize what your intention for this show was.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's why we went to PBS, because I was really concerned that the spirit of the show, right? The show's not about me. It's not a game show. There's no time trials. You're not trying to build something in 20 minutes. There's no drama. It's about craftsmanship and amazing men and women who live their life and are driven by, sometimes different reasons, than other people.
And it's amazing how that's gotten lost in this world. That's
Absolutely.
when he had mentioned to me, when Chris had mentioned to me that you were doing a show and it was on PBS, I thought, dude, educational, like This Old House. And I was like, is it like This Old House? Because to me, I have a construction company. I do carpentry and I do everything. And like, it sounds like with you, the interest is so much more. Bikes are awesome. They've been a part of my life, my whole life. But there's so much more to what you do, you know what I mean? What other people do to get your interest in there. But that to be on PBS, dude, not to go broad, like you said, it's not about you. It's awesome. People are gonna actually see the craft instead of the advertisement,
the drama and the dumb shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
and to me, that's fantastic.
And that's what it was always supposed to be about. You know, the premise, right? What I call the spirit of the show. We always have these three words that the production company uses as this mantra, and that's inspire, discover, restore, right? Because I want somebody that is watching the show to be able to say, "Oh man, there's no reason I can't do that."
Right.
Totally, and go out and do it, or try something that maybe they're a little intimidated about or unsure of where to start. It doesn't matter if we do a show on it or not. It's like, oh, this jackass can pick it up. I totally can
Right.
do that. You know what I mean? And that's what it's really about.
Our
And
whole premise to greasing gears.
Yep.
yeah, and it's like it's like building a motorcycle, man. It's a big project. But you know what? You do one thing at a time, and next thing you know, you're riding down the road.
Yeah, follow the steps. Yeah, follow
Well,
the steps.
that's one of the biggest things today too, man. Like we talk to death about the fact that everyone in the motorcycle industry right now is looking and searching for that next customer and how to get people inspired. And like, I think the thing that you're talking about right here, I always talk about when we do Grease and Gears Garage, and I always talk about the fact that people will go, well, how does somebody watch something for 4 hours? And I'm like, well, if a guy's hand building an entire frame and working the bender and working the notcher and doing all that, it's the same as when we were kids and you used to watch, and this was also from PBS, the old Electric Company or Sesame Street, and they would have those little videos about how it was made, and they
I love that. Was my favorite
what
part.
I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's the same premise. Like inside, we're all still those little kids that want to see how things happen and want to watch it, want to watch
Sponge for
creation.
information.
Yeah.
And it's there's a lot of truth in that, man. It's that yearning and drive to learn, right, and to discover and see how things are made and to understand like what other people do. That's all in us. It's in us as kids. That's what drives us as kids to learn new things, learn how to color and make Christmas cards or ornaments or whatever. And then as adults, sometimes that part of us gets beaten up a little bit and gets shoved in the back a little bit because we got all these other obligations in life. You got things to do. You got to make money. You got to pay bills. You got to, take care of business and whatnot. And you forget about that natural instinct
The
that's
important
in all
things.
of us.
Yeah.
Well,
Important
that's what I like. That's what I liked earlier when you and I were talking, and you said that the real substance behind all of this is to show people that you can do what you love, to pay attention in life, to do something that you really love, and you're showing people that world, through the people that you're visiting, the craft that you're showing.
And it's not for everybody, right? And I'm not suggesting that you stop what you're doing and quit your job and start making motorcycles or turning pens for a living. But you don't necessarily have to do that. But who knows? Maybe you will end up doing that.
Right.
Like
if you change if you change one person's life, or if you bring something to a few people that are missing,
If you just make everybody think about it.
yeah, if you make them, like you were saying, to watch people blow glass or do etching work and stuff like that. Like one of the things that we say all the time on everything that we do, it's not rocket science, man. Anybody can do it. Take your time, learn, and what you're doing is bringing something like we do with Grease and Gears. You're bringing something to the table that a lot of people would never see. You can go on. We kid around about this with Chris fixing his Sprinter, going on YouTube and finding information. And the funny part about it is half the information he's finding on YouTube was bullshit. It was a bunch of crap. And you're going into these guys' shops that are accomplished at this, and when they're done, they know that they just watched somebody do it a right way. That's pretty cool to take the time. Anybody would have jumped in this, look for the notoriety, look for the money. Dude, you took the time. You found the right people.
Awesome.
To me, that's fantastic. No fame in this for you. That's killer.
I appreciate that. It's kind of you to say. It's a blessing, man.
Well, absolutely. So you said 4 years into the program, and you take a hiatus, and specifically to work on this book. Now, the book has been a big deal. Like, I started getting a hold of you. You were in the middle of a whirlwind press event surrounding the release of the book. Of course, I call you in the middle of all that, but
Yeah, that's okay.
I think at the time, like, you were waiting to go on Good Morning America or something, and like, you know, they were talking about the book, and here I am. Hey man, you come on Shop Talk this week, and you were like, you know, I'm gonna have to get back to you. But the book is not just a compilation of different stories from the episodes and stuff. It starts off with a history and, you know, a little bit of backstory about you, right?
Yeah, the book goes. It sort of goes back and forth. So the whole book has like stories from my childhood and growing up, and like how I got into starting Voodoo Choppers. You know how that all came about, and then intermixed in that, like one chapter will be about like, you know, me as a kid and doing something with my granddad or my dad, and then the next chapter will talk about like, you know, somebody I was working with for filming a show, and it's much more of a little philosophical book, right? Like it doesn't say, you know, it's not a DIY book. It's not what they call a companion series book to the show, where, you know, chapter 1 is episode 1 type of thing.
Yeah.
It's an easy reading book. It's really, you know, pretty chill. You can knock it out in a day or two if you wanted to, you know.
Well, I think what you have on your cover really encompasses it's why working with our hands gives us meaning. It, like, that right there says so much about the point you're trying to get across in this.
Yeah, those marketing people are super smart. Right? The marketing people at the publishing house are, yeah, they spent some time on that. I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome.
But it's so true. I mean, and like I'm saying, in the construction end of what I do, a lot of times you can't get a piece for something. You're going in, all the things I work on are old houses and old apartment buildings, and you know, we're working on a 1.5 million BTU boiler, and you got to make that, and then we go from there to hardwood or to granite, and there's so many different combinations, and a lot of people don't realize, like, you're showing them something that they really don't realize, you know, all these different crafts, all these, all make a difference. And when you're done working with your hands, the pride level is massive. To walk into these old buildings and then redo them and walk in again is, you know, makes you feel
the
great.
occasion like the sink that you brought home for the shop?
Yeah.
When you find something in one of those old buildings and you realize like what guys used to do back then, man, like when they made something, dude, it was like they really cared about what they did.
They put their heart into it.
Yeah.
And that's gone. I mean, there's so little of that left in the world. You know,
well,
anybody would have thrown that sink away. We took a 1929 porcelain sink and stuck it in the garage, and it's like one of the coolest things in the world to me, you know?
I think
absolutely
through what Eric's doing, if he can inspire one person to try something new, then he's accomplished something great. Because so many people in today's world suffer from fear of failure. They're so afraid to fail that they don't even try. And if through his series or through his book, they can get that one bit of sense of satisfaction when they look at something and say, I did that, kudos to you.
Yeah, and thank
kudos
God
to you
there's
for bringing
people
that
like
to
him
people.
out there, that do that. So,
you know, to me, the fear of failure is absolutely paramount. You know, that's so such a huge point. You know, it's right in the front of our minds often. But you know, if we sit and think about it, and you look at your opportunities of learning, your challenge and opportunities to learn aren't really in success; they're in failure.
Absolutely.
You know, like you're going to learn way more from every mistake you make than you're going to learn knocking it out and hitting it out of the park every time. You know what I mean?
And you can't be afraid to make them.
That's
you can't
it, too.
be afraid to make them.
No. You know, you screw up. I can't tell you, you know, when I started shaping metal, how many things I would make, and I would ruin them in making it because I didn't know any better, you know, and I was still learning my craft, and even when I was an apprentice, you know, and I'd make mistakes and just totally screw up the piece, and you know, you burn through, you know, say 40 hours or whatever on that piece, but that knowledge that you gain from it is so much more valuable.
Well, one of the most memorable things my father ever said to me is you learn your biggest accomplishments from your biggest mistakes. You know, you learn you learn from your biggest failures, and it has to bounce back and to recreate. I mean, me and Chris have a pile of metal laying next to the lathe that are. It's like people walk in and say, "Oh, what do you do with that metal?" "Oh, it's all junk." Well, no, it's not junk, but it is dust because it didn't work out the way we want. We still use pieces of it, and I think sometimes looking at that makes you do it right the next time. You know, when you look down, you know what you did wrong. But boy, you're right. You have to. You got to jump out on that ledge, or you'll never learn. You'll sit back and watch the cars go by the rest of your life.
Yep.
It can be daunting though, and you know, sometimes, you know, like the first time you go to a specialty shop, you know, the first time you go to a steel yard or something like that, you know, that it can be intimidating, you know, because a lot of those yards, you know, they're very used to somebody coming in knowing exactly what they want, and you know, and they're not. You know, it's not super friendly, man. It's not like walking into Walmart and they got a greeter there helping you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you gotta, you know, so I understand, you know, but everybody goes through it. You know, I remember the first time I walked into a metal shop, you know, and you make it out alive, you know.
No, and you know what, man? Like the guys that we deal with here, and we might be super lucky because they're cool as hell. But I've got to the point now that I care more about acquiring the knowledge than I do what I look like acquiring that knowledge. Yeah. So I walk right in and I go, hey, this is what I want to do. This is kind of how I want it to be. What do you suggest? Like, I don't know shit about this, but this is your place, so you tell me.
And nowadays, the majority of places will compensate you on that. They'll definitely, you know, give you a hand. And if they don't, make sure you let everybody know they don't.
Yeah, that's not the place.
Yeah, that's not the place you want to go then.
Yep. Right on. Well, so this book is available on Amazon. We're going to put the links up right now.
Already done.
For that and for the YouTube channel where the series is.
Which I can't wait to watch.
And
I just found out there was a series on YouTube today, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'll probably watch all of them. And
more importantly, in an upcoming issue of Cycle Source magazine, I hope it's one of the very next ones. We're gonna get into this a little bit further and really show everybody some of the images and behind the scenes stuff and talk about it a little bit more. But man, it's awesome for us. I can't thank you enough for being here and for the work that you're doing, because it's really what it's all about, dude.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. So tell everybody real quick where to keep up with you and Voodoo Choppers and to get up to the minute what you're doing next.
Social media is probably the best place. You know, I've got a personal account, Eric Gorgeous, on Instagram and Facebook and all that. And then Craftsman's Legacy and Voodoo Choppers, they both have accounts up there. And we try to keep it somewhat separated so there's different information on the different accounts, but you know, there's crossover.
Right on.
You know, and the websites and all that jazz, you can, you know, buy merch and books and DVDs and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely get out one way or another and support this kind of work right here, because I can tell you right now from our little production stuff that we do, this is a labor of love, you know, and the fact that you didn't take something as awesome and as pure as this show and like sell it to the highest bidder.
Running through the money train. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
No, that don't get me wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
it really is an important message, especially today.
Oh, it
you
just
know, like
shows your love for the craft. It just shows your love for the craft. I mean, in all reality, you know, 90% of the people would have done that. I'll tell you, we have a lot in common because we're not smart enough to do it either. So, you know what I mean? So it's totally give you all the credit in the world for that, man.
But he's on TV and we're not, so he's smarter than us.
Yeah, but it's PBS. He went on TV the right way to show somebody something and to teach somebody something instead of throw it out there, give me the money, and then 2 months later I'm broke and my 15 minutes of fame's gone.
Yeah, and look, I mean, going into the 5th season now, dude, like killer.
Pretty impressive.
All right, man. We'll cut you loose, but like I said, we're going to get with you real quick and bring some more of this stuff out to the magazine, dude. So thank you very much for taking some time with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks again, man. I really enjoyed it.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye.
So
I just ordered his book.
Good.
Yeah, that's cool.
I did. I just ordered it while we were talking.
And I'm really curious, like how they go about each of the individual shows.
Oh, dude, I
and
watched
stuff
some of
like
them.
that.
I watched some of them pre-show.
Yeah.
Like, you really, really dig the way they put it together. It's solid.
And
It
it's so
really
neat
is.
because it's not just metalwork. It's
Everything.
woodwork and glass
Yeah.
blowing
Yep.
and metal shaping and engraving. And he
Like
really
I said,
just
back to being a little kid again.
Yeah, and
how it works.
The cool thing on the outside of this is like I love all that stuff and all the different, and we don't have the time between work and what we do with Flat Broke and the traveling with Cycle Source and doing the events and all that stuff, and then working at the shop and working at the house. We don't have time to go do that stuff, and there's all kinds of events out there that you can go actually watch this. But to be able to sit down and pull up a screen as somebody who feels it like we feel,
Yep.
and to be able to see what they do that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what he puts out.
A lot of you guys have been commenting. We've had such great conversation tonight. We haven't been able to get to you a lot. But Steve Royals, Steve says he has ADHD.
ADHD.
and ADD and every other letter, but it just makes him better.
Gary Ramey is, thanks guys, great advice. Also asked, what part of Western PA are you from? A little bit north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I am from New England.
Yeah, but not now.
She is. She
No, I will
now
always
you're
be
not.
from New England.
she's a transplant.
I'm a transplant.
But you guys are watching Shop Talk through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio and Choppertown. Hey to all our Choppertown guys out there. John Bugkiller Baker is reminding us that Grease and Gears Garage, Cycle Source Magazine are a team with Choppertown. If you guys saw that little video about Bricktown, that's the kind of programming you can expect when you go on to Choppertown. Check out their stuff through YouTube, through their social media. Choppertown the Sinners, their flagship, I suppose you would say, right, project that launched the whole thing.
You were going to say fledgling.
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 I was going to say that.
What is a fledgel?
That's not that great. Coming up in short order, actually, straight away, we're going to be in Lone Star Rally Friday, November 1st. Bike games, rodeo games at Lone Star Rally are no joke.
Bring
I
your
forgot to
game.
send
Bring
you
your
the
A game.
picture.
I know. Kurt is
Damn.
Kurt
Here
Green
we
is
go.
working on the championship belt right now. Heather's
It's
going to put it up.
beautiful.
South Hills kid here, right on. Still have the accent. Don't lose your accent there, Gary Ramey.
Shut up, Robert.
When you come back to Pittsburgh, everybody gonna make fun of you if you don't talk the right way. So
I'll post it because you can't see my phone very
No,
well,
you
but
can't
it's
see it.
bitchin', and Kurt Green is amazing.
also in the Lone Star Rally, Saturday, November 2nd is our annual Ride-In Bike Show. Big stuff.
Yes, sir.
The $10,000 in motion contest. And look, all these blank squares, they're all filled up now. But we're going to put a news release out showing you guys who exactly is in the running for that big prize. You can go to LoneStarRally.com or go to any of their social media for a full lineup of all the entertainment. There's tons of stuff. The Pirouette's Paint Show is out there.
And it's and another thing, it's so awesome to watch because look at all those people on that list, on those pictures, because it comes down to the ride cut you out. I mean, it's like every step of this is another step to get to the end game, and boy, it's the
Yeah, buddy.
energy's all there, buddy.
I get too emotionally invested. It's terrible.
It sucks because we know all these people,
I
and,
know.
and like
I know,
to
there's
watch
nothing
people to watch people not make the ride or to something to just to go astray with them. It really hurts. But in the end, I mean, I gotta say, I got to ride home a 23 or 22 hour ride home with the winner last year, and it felt. So, I mean, not
Hey,
to cut him out, but
and like to his credit, not the winner the year before.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
We rode
So-
home the year, and you know something. Let
Yep.
me tell you, this guy. We're talking about Jeff Cochran. He's a true gentleman. There wasn't a complaint. There wasn't anything. And then on the way home, he talked more about what everybody else brought to the table than what he actually brought to the table. So
When I think at the end of the day, like if you guys are wondering why we did this, we went to the people from Lone Star and we begged for an opportunity to do a show like this because there just wasn't something that really said, okay, look, like the AMD World Show, that's great. That's awesome. Half of those bikes at least there don't run, don't
Right.
ride. If you don't have a functioning riding motorcycle at the end of all the shit that you do with this, you're missing half the point.
Yeah.
So we wanted something in the United States that exemplified the hot rod custom culture that we grew up in That's what In Motion is about. So we can't thank them enough for giving us that opportunity.
Yeah, they actually have, I mean, more than stepped up. They've
Yep.
stepped up with prize money and space and like every crazy thing Chris could possibly think of to throw at them. They're like, okay, sure, we'll figure it out.
All right. Well, it looks like we're about at the end of the hour. So I want to thank you guys one more time for hanging out with us in the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Every Sunday, remember this, every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live with another episode of Shop Talk. If you can't catch it on any of the social media between Cycle Source and Chopper Town, you can always go after the fact, pick it up as a podcast, fun to listen to while you're at work, on your drive in.
They shouldn't be listening while they're at work. They should be working.
Well,
I mean,
you
you
know,
can still
just saying.
listen.
some people.
Can I give one shout out before we go?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to
Please.
say hi to Brian Ferrand of Bluegrass Engraving.
Oh, yeah.
He made the gifts for our builders last year, and they were absolutely stunning
Yes.
belt buckles.
Yep.
This year, he has stepped up. Bluegrass Engraving has stepped up to make the gifts again for our builders this year.
Incredible
I'm not
craftsman.
telling what
Yep.
they are. He is an extremely talented man.
Yeah, so those belt buckles were awesome
and-
last year.
Yo.
And he has stepped up as a sponsor for this year, so I can't wait to show y'all what he's bringing to the table for us. Again, Bluegrass Engraving, make sure you check him out. He does incredible
We need to
work.
get him on the show.
Okay, Brian,
Yeah.
do you want to come on the show?
Next week, Brian, you're on.
Oh boy, now you did
Get
it.
your radio voice ready, Brian.
All right, man. Again, I want to thank you guys for sharing us, letting us into your headspace, into your home for 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit for Shop Talk. And until next week,
Oh boy.
I
this
do
is
the
where you
same-
say
No, I
same
do-
chopper time.
No, I
and
say
he
same
says
chopper
same
channel.
chopper channel.
Oh, and
and
I'm like,
we say
shut up, Robert.
for another episode of Shop Talk. See you next week. You're killing me.